Okay. My stream is on.
I can't tell if mine is or not because I'm a professional.
My stream going live would look absolutely ridiculous right now because everything's moved around and broken.
There's an echo somewhere.
Yeah, that was me. I got my stream. We're good. We are good. All right. We ready then?
Are we? You got to be sharing your screen before I can go actually true live.
Why?
Because of the way I positioned everything. Here, I'll show you why. You want to? Oh, never mind. I can't show you why now because you did. Wait, what is that?
What is what?
What you're sharing now?
That's the beginning.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm going live.
Okay. All right. I think that we are ready to begin.
Let's find out. There's only one way to know for sure.
It's true. No. Can y'all hear that?
I don't hear anything yet.
So I think I need to stop sharing this.
You broke my stream.
The hosts of bracketology are experts in nothing. They claim no advanced knowledge or profound insights. Instead, they are just three judgmental idiots who really like to bloviate their own opinions whenever given the chance. Take what they have to say with a grain of salt, or not at all. You'll probably be better off that way.
All right.
Dude. You're killing me, Smalls.
Look, I'm sorry you overcomplicated this. I'm sorry you overcomplicated this. Is it better now?
Yes. Do you want to see what... Are you watching my stream?
No.
That's rude. I have your stream up.
I can only do one thing. I've got two screens. One of them I'm playing this, and then I have my phone, which has my stream manager on it.
You're the worst. All right, whatever.
All right. I think since today is Mario Day, it is March 10th, I think it's important for us to do one of my favorite things in the world, trivia.
Ooh. Okay. No, I'm all right with that.
We are going to play a little bit of a game, all right? Pretty simple. Trivia. I'm going to ask a question. You're both going to get a chance to answer, and I'm going to keep score.
Do we have to ring in any sort of way?
So I was debating this, but digital makes that difficult.
Just shout our names.
I know.
Make weird sounds. Can I pick it? I want to go. What sound do I want to go with? I just decided that we're going to ring in.
Yeah,
with weird
I see
sounds.
that. That's generally how this works.
All right.
I come up with an idea, and then you go, "Ooh, let's do this," and then
I'm just building on it. You know.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm helping.
What's your sound?
Mine's going to be bing.
I'm going to go with.
Okay. One of those is closer to our topic than the other.
Yeah, mine's the coin.
All right. I've got 12 questions. Okay. Whoever
right.
rings in first will answer first. If they get it wrong, the other person will get their chance to answer.
Okay.
It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm just calculating a strategy here.
All right. Which of these is not a power-up item in any of the games? Okay. In any of the games. You've got a carrot, an ice skate, a rainbow star, a vanish cap, a laser suit, a shoe, or a bee mushroom. One of these is not an actual power-up. Okay, that sounded like a quack. Scott?
My sound changed slightly. I'm going to say laser suit.
Okay, you're going to say laser suit.
I'm going with laser suit.
Is he right, or can I steal? No.
Look at that. Round of applause for the victor.
Correct. I was trying to use the sounds that are in here. Yeah, so there was a rumor in 2007. I know there's a whole bunch. I'm just going to let you know what it is. There was a rumor in 2007 that there was some hidden secret like level in Super Mario World, and in that you were provided with the laser suit power up. So it's a rumored thing, but the laser suit is not real. The carrot is from Super Mario Land. Ice skate is from something else. The shoe is just from Super Mario 3. Where are Mario and Luigi from?
Bing.
Daniel.
Oh, there's not multiple choice on this one?
Nope.
New York.
I was waiting for...
I need more specific.
Brooklyn.
Oh, that's bullshit. I was buzzing in.
That is correct. It is Brooklyn, New York. You give me... Hold on. If on a real TV trivia show, somebody gave a partial answer for like that, they would say, I need more specific.
Let's see. Yeah. Let's think about a TV show that we both have watched that's kind of in the format of a trivia game. Something like an Actually, where if he had given the answer New York, if he would have said, I'll give you the point unless someone can be more specific.
That's a single show that is not mainstream.
Saying. Just saying.
Are you ready for question 3?
Yeah.
I'm ready for question 3.
It's 1-1. 1-1.
Is this one multiple choice? Okay.
What year did the first Mario movie premiere, Scott?
No. There's not any rules. I'm going to buzz in whenever I want to.
Oh my god.
1989.
That is incorrect.
Damn.
Daniel?
1991.
Ooh, closer, but nobody gets the points. It's 1993.
Balls. Okay.
1993. In what game does Daisy first appear? Daisy's right here on the screen in case anybody wants to see her.
Isn't
Scott?
Super Mario World.
That is incorrect. I'm sorry.
Bing.
Dan?
I'm going to go with Donkey Kong.
That is incorrect. You're thinking of Pauline.
No.
It was Super Mario Land.
Oh, I went one too far.
Yeah, you went the wrong direction. Still 1-1. In Mario Tennis, who is Yoshi's partner? Scott.
Is it just another different colored Yoshi?
It's not. No.
Okay. Well,
I can't remember if I set this one up as a multiple choice or not. Dan.
Is it Toad?
It is not Toad. So here are your options. I'm going to give everybody a chance one more time. You got Baby Mario. Yeah, Scott.
It's Baby Mario.
That is incorrect.
What? All right.
Birdo.
It is Birdo.
I like how we knocked it down to 50-50 to begin with.
It is Birdo.
Dang.
Birdo was Yoshi's partner.
Okay.
All right. Who is the creator of Mario?
Oh, man, I know.
I'll take just the last name. Unfortunately, he left this world a few years back.
Yeah.
Scott?
I'm Miyamoto?
Miyamoto is correct. Yes. That's all right.
Miyamoto.
It was stuck in my brain somewhere.
We got 2-2. I don't know why I just looked like Richard Nixon there for a second. 2-2.
I'm not a criminal. Anyway.
What game had Bowser appear as a playable character first? Scott?
Mario Kart.
It is Mario Kart.
Damn
That
it.
is correct. All right, we got 3-2. Dan, you got a couple more to come back to this.
Okay.
Who is the main villain in Super Mario Sunshine? I've got this one's multiple choice. Bowser, Shadow Mario.
Bing.
I think I heard Scott first.
You did. Shadow Mario.
That is correct. It is Shadow Mario.
Damn it.
That's 4-2. What track is available in... God, I can't... Your noise keeps changing.
Look, it's not... Well, to be fair, neither one of them is Mario's coin, but it's not an attempt at Mario's coin. Rainbow Road.
Rainbow Road was one of the options.
Whoops.
And it is correct, yes. Rainbow Road is the only track that's available in every Mario Kart.
I take trivia too seriously.
What game is the dragon Hooktail from?
There's a dragon named Hooktail?
There is a dragon named Hooktail.
I'm assuming he's not pictured, huh?
He is not currently pictured, no.
Bing.
Dan?
I'm going to say Mario 2.
Nope.
Meh.
Scott.
I'm gonna say Super Mario RPG.
Ooh, you're on the right path.
Paper
But it is
Mario.
Paper
God
Mario,
damn it.
the
It
1,000-year
was
door.
in my head. It was 50-50 Super Mario or RPG or Paper Mario. I was thinking, I was like, I don't know of any dragons, and the only games I definitely haven't played are the RPG ones, so it's got to be one of those two.
Yep.
Damn, picked the
All right.
wrong 50-50.
Still 4-2. Name 4 of the Koopalings.
Oh, shit.
Scott.
Pass.
Okay. All right, Dan, you got to try.
I know I knew this at some point, but I don't know.
I've never paid attention to their dialogue long enough to.
That's so
You
sad
just
to
jump
me.
on them 3 times. That's all I care.
Well, you've got Iggy Koopa,
Oh, yeah.
Morton Koopa Jr., Lemmy Koopa, Ludwig von Koopa,
They're all rock stars.
Roy Koopa, Wendy O. Koopa, and Larry Koopa.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have.
All right. Last question. So, Scott?
It's Chris Pratt.
Dan, do you wanna try?
Yeah, it's Martinet. Charles Martinet.
All right, Charles
Yeah.
Martinet, not Chris Pratt. He is not my Mario.
He's this Mario. Look at that. Look at that Mario.
Anyway, that is our trivia, our cold open for 4-2. Unfortunately, Scott has won.
4-3.
What do you mean?
Well,
Yeah,
4
he
to
did
3,
get
sorry.
that. What do you mean, unfortunately?
Yeah, he won by 1 point.
And there goes my stream again.
I don't know what to tell you. I can't just start presenting something else. I have to change.
You need to see what it looks like. All right, I screenshot it.
Okay.
It's so broken.
All right. Welcome to the show.
Hello, and welcome to the first ever severely broken. There we go. Hello, and welcome to the first ever live bracketology here on Twitch and Riverside. I have a history with weird mushrooms, Scott Grubb.
It's a me, Matt.
And I'm totally awesome, Dan.
This week, today, on Mario Day, we are celebrating. You know, we got a lot of feedback when we did Best Video Game Franchise. It was swiftly pointed out for us that technically speaking, we were only discussing the second Best Video Game Franchise. But as we stated in the episode, that's because it was clear who the best is. It's Mario. It has been for a long, long time. With that being said, we've circled back. Now that we're here, we're done with the video game franchise bracket, and today happens to be March 10th, otherwise known as Mario Day. We're doing a special live episode to determine the best Mario game. Fellas, what do we have in store for us today?
Man, Scott,
how did we get to this point?
How did we get to this point? Well, when we created the Best Video Game Franchise episode, we knew immediately that we could not include we could not include Mario because it would just win.
It's too big of a heavy hitter. It is influenced too much, sold too many copies. It's just too big.
So, and there are like so many like goddamn Mario games. It's absurd to try to figure it out.
Yeah, I learned a little bit about just how many Mario games there were in the creation of this bracket.
Yeah, so we put this one together. We've got 16 Mario games fighting it out to figure out what is the best Mario game of all Mario time.
We had to eliminate about 484 games just to get to this point.
And I am sad. I'm sad because at least one of them was one of my favorite games, and it got on the chopping block immediately.
Which one was that? Which one did we?
Yoshi's Island. God damn it. Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, which you were vehemently against.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we already have a lot to pick from here, and I didn't feel like we needed to have filler space with your favorite because that inevitably means it's going to lose.
But
So,
it's not that. Fuck you. Fuck you real bad and hard.
and with that being said, we should get going on this.
This is going to be a longer episode. It is live, but it's a longer episode for those of you watching because we can bloviate.
We have to
Quite
be
long.
somewhat reasonable with the length
with
of
the
this as well.
timing here.
Yeah, some of it we all still have to work tomorrow, so
That's true.
And Dan's got about 45 minutes until it's his bedtime, so
Give or take.
yeah, something like that. All right, where do we want to start?
I mean, putting this together, I think it makes sense to just go through it one by one. So let's start at the top left, work our way down, and then across.
All right, first up, Super Mario Brothers versus Mario Sports.
All right, so this is the first Super Mario Brothers. This is the arcade / NES Famicom first version versus all of Mario Sports. So that includes Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, Mario. Was there ever a soccer game?
There was.
Yes.
Yeah, I knew there was Mega Man Soccer, but that's my.
Yeah, so we did make a bit of a executive decision to lump all of the Mario Sport games together and just talk about that genre as if it was a single sport or a single game. I mean,
If it was a single sport, that'd be
that'd be
amazing.
crazy. I mean, we're coming right off. It's going against the OG original. I mean, it's what birthed this entire Mario movement.
Well,
So, I mean,
yeah.
granted, you have tennis and golf and baseball and basketball, everything in there. I mean, can you really take away from the first
The
one?
OG Mario. I mean, how many, villains and bad guys started in that OG Mario that have lasted decades, that have become characters in their own rights, right? Super Mario Brothers started it all. And realistically, if you go back in time, there was an Atari craze for home console gaming, but it crashed. And Nintendo reinvigorated the video game genre with the NES. And a large part of that success came off the back of one Mario. To me, this is kind of an easy thing. I know that there have been fun entries in the Mario Sports.
Yeah.
But it's really, it's a bad luck of the draw going up against Super Mario Bros.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to debate. I mean, I definitely spent a lot of time playing Mario Tennis on my N64 and play quite a bit of Mario Golf too, but I don't know. I feel like, again, considering this is going to be a longer episode where we have the opportunities to remain in the interest of time, I'm going to go ahead and throw a vote out there for the OG Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, I think that Super Mario Brothers, the original, can and will move on. I will vote for it as well. I mean, I think that it's just important for us to say that Mario games come in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure we had like all the genres represented that he has found himself in. Mario, again, we lumped Mario Sports all together because I don't know that they've really all been all that impactful as a whole compared to a lot of the other games that are on here, but they do exist and they're fun.
Yeah. Would you say that, and I know that we're going to try to keep this somewhat short, but a little consolation to Mario Sports. What was your Mario Sport game of choice?
Mario Tennis on the N64. I played that a lot, which is funny because I'm not a tennis fan or at all whatsoever, but I don't know, that game on this N64 was just super fun.
What about you, Dan? Is it? Well, hold on. It's Mario and Sonic at the Olympics.
No. I enjoyed probably Mario Golf and Mario Tennis equally. They were both like zen for me. It was just really enjoyable to play.
Well, plus you get the sound effects and everything else, so
Yeah.
that's fair. Yeah, probably some tennis for me as well. All right, let's go into our next matchup.
Super Mario 64 versus Super Mario Bros. Wonder. One of them is relatively new. The Super Mario Bros. Wonder came out just a few years ago, whereas Super Mario 64 was the game that helped launch the Nintendo 64. And, both of those games, again, I feel like this is one for me where we can save a little bit of time because Super Mario 64 is just so, so good. And it had that face when you started the game where you could like pull Mario's nose and mess with his ears.
Yeah, I think that Super Mario 64 was really one of the main reasons that the N64 was so successful and is so like revered today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because not only, I think it was a launch title with it, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
So even if you had never gotten into Mario before, if that was somehow your first introduction was on the N64, it was the first game you were going to play. So it's hard to say. Now, Mario Bros. Wonder, is that the cat one?
No, that's
the Bowser's Fury one.
Bowser's Fury one. Yeah.
Okay. So what was the power up for Super Mario Bros. Wonder?
It had the fire flower, but didn't it also have the ice flower?
Yeah, well, it also was the one that had... So Super Mario Brothers Wonder was a Switch release. It came out in 2023, and it is one that I've actually played quite a bit of with my kids. It's got a lot of wide-ranging appeal for younger because it has a couple different features. One, it has... It's not the first one, is it? No, it's not the first one. With multiple players. I think that's
I got you.
But it is, yeah. It has capabilities like, for example, people can play as Toads and Yoshis in this version of the game, and if they do, they don't take damage. Like they can still fall to their death, but like bad guys can't hurt them. So it's helpful for little kids. And there's ways of like saving your partners in this one. So it's one of the games that has collaborative 4-player capability. So you can have up to 4 people playing all on the same map at the same time. You like interact with each other and bounce off of each other and all that. I will say, I think had this one been in a different matchup, it's a very good Mario game, and like I said, if you have younger kids, it's one that can work really well for them. It's super fun, bright, colorful. The animation on it is great. Being able to, some of the new power-ups, like there's an elephant one, you can change into an elephant, and then you can like
the elephant
suck up and spray water and all that. All of that is super fun. All of that being said, though, Super Mario 64 is a juggernaut of a game. I mean, it I don't know. I think it's one of the more defining Mario games, period.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that our vote to move Mario 64 on, because I agree.
Woo-hoo!
I think that was honestly kind of impressive.
Yeah,
Threw me off.
I spent a lot of time playing that game and listening to that sound.
Yeah, I'd put Super Mario over Wonder.
All right. Then that moves us on to our next matchup. Scott, what is that matchup?
We got Super Mario World versus Super Mario Odyssey.
I feel like this is going to be the first divergence in mine and y'all two chucklefucks vote.
Because we're younger than you?
Yes.
Yeah, you're old.
Look, Super Mario Odyssey is in a way, it is really like the spiritual successor to Super Mario 64, right?
Sure.
Not saying there weren't other 3D Mario games, but it was truly like, hey, you have all these worlds, you have all these things you need to do. I love Super Mario Odyssey. Similar to some like Breath of the Wild and some of the other like newer Nintendo video games, I'll go back and play Super Mario Odyssey, and it does like chill me out quite a bit. However, Super Mario World is the quintessential Mario game, in my opinion. It is, first of all, the first game that introduces Yoshi.
Yep.
Yoshi being the best character in the Mario universe.
It's also the first game where you could go back. In fact, in some points, you had to go back to levels that you'd already beaten to find like secret exits to unlock different paths. That had never been done in a Mario game before. There was an evolution of the Mario games, and Super Mario World, again, took it to the next level. It was a launch title for the Super Nintendo. Super Mario World was, to me, like an all-time great, not just Mario game, but video game in general.
I think that's fair. I mean, I think that Super Mario World can be in the top 2 in just about anybody's best video game franchise, or not franchise, best video game list. Like, just stop, right? Super Mario Odyssey is amazing though, and like the ability to take over other characters is really cool.
Yeah.
Didn't Super Mario Odyssey win multiple Game of the Year awards? Like, you guys are putting Mario World on this pedestal saying it's one of the all-time greatest, but I'm pretty sure Odyssey legit won Game of the Year a couple times.
Yeah, but were Game of the Year awards a thing in 93 when Super Mario World came out?
I mean, even if they weren't, though, yeah, it was nominated for Game of the Years in 2017. It won on the Game Critics Award Best Action Adventure, Best Console, and Best of Show. It also won Best Family Game in Game Awards in 2017.
I mean, Odyssey definitely has some key points going for it because it is great and it introduces new functionality, right?
Sorry, go ahead.
Similar to a lot of the really good Mario games is having secrets and having the ability to do something new. It's just in Super Mario Odyssey, there's not a new power-up. You just take over people, right? Which in and of itself is great. And introduces Cappy. I feel like Cappy has become...
Yeah.
It's close. So the Metacritic rating for both of these games, Super Mario World, 92. Super Mario Odyssey, 97.
Wow.
Odyssey is like universally regarded as one of the greatest games of all time. I mean, you have those key Mario components. You have many of the other characters you were talking, Yoshi and all that. You have Cappy. You have the open world element of it. You have you said spiritual successor, to Super Mario 64. You have a lot of those same components with much more, obviously updated and cleaner graphics. I don't know. And a variety of powers, a better story. I don't know, more intriguing gameplay. Like, I get the nostalgia view of Super Mario World, and you're not wrong. I mean, obviously, 90, what did I say, 92?
92.
Metacritic, like, it is certainly, a great game, especially for the SNES, but, I mean, I honestly don't think that the Switch would have been as successful as it was without Odyssey. Because Zelda wasn't a thing at the beginning of it. Certainly Zelda helped, but there's no way that the Switch would have been as successful without Odyssey.
No, I wholeheartily agree with that. Dan, what are you doing?
Stop making that sound.
Sorry.
What the hell are you doing?
But to say that Mario Odyssey wouldn't exist without Super Mario World and the success that It had like Super Mario
Okay,
World.
so let's cancel the whole bracket. None of this would exist without Super Mario Brothers 1. There, bracket over. Like, that's such a bullshit argument. And if anything, Super Mario Odyssey wouldn't exist without Mario 64. Mario World had very little to do with Odyssey.
Other than the fact that the success of Super Mario World prompted Super Mario 64. It's all
Great, your argument is chronological order. Super Mario Brothers wins the whole bracket. What are we even doing here?
No, I'm just saying that even though it took place on a limited technology system, the Super Nintendo, by today's standards, is limited technology, but that doesn't take away from how awesome the game is. In fact, I would say that it gives further credit to how fun that game is, being how limited of a system that it's on, and the fact that it is still competing with a game that is, a decade younger or newer.
It's not, I mean, it's competing because that's the order that the thing landed in, or the order of the bracket landed in. It's not like it did anything to achieve its place here. And to be fair, given the generation that it came out in, the Switch would also be considered limited technology. Nintendo's always been limited technology when it comes to its hardware. It did what it could with its time. But again, that argument boils down to chronological order. I'm not saying that Super Mario World is any less of a game because it's a 2D side-scroller. All the video games at that time were 2D side-scrollers. I'm just saying Super Mario Odyssey has a completely different... Not completely different, because again, it was done in 64, but that freedom in the gameplay... I don't know. I mean, again, it comes down to what you enjoy, ultimately. I don't know. The Odyssey, like I said, I feel like it's more universally highly regarded. I don't know. We can vote. We've been talking about it for a minute.
I mean, all right. It sounds like we know votes, but Scott, do you want to start?
I mean, yeah. We're gonna say this a lot. I get where you're coming from with Super Mario World and its value to the SNES and the Mario franchise as a whole, but Odyssey is, again, it's regarded by many as one of the best games ever, and I'm in that camp. Like, yeah, it's great.
But when you go to IGN's list of the top 100 games of all time, guess what number 2 is?
Okay.
Super Mario World.
Cool. You're looking at one list, man. I'm looking at the Metacritic that puts together all the reviews as an overall arcing thing.
My vote is for Super Mario World. I'm not trying to take away from Super Mario Odyssey. Odyssey is a great game, but Super Mario World is better.
So I am going to be completely honest, as I often am.
That's the goal.
Yeah. Super Mario World is my favorite Mario game, period. And I can't completely take myself out of it, right? I mean, again, the introduction of Yoshi, the ability to have all the secret levels, the secret additions, the fucking chocolate lake, like the whole game is just, it's beautiful. I love going back and replaying it. So for me, and for where my money is worth, if these two boxes were in front of me, grabbing Super Mario World.
The Rogue Tomato disagrees with you.
The Rogue Tomato always disagrees with me.
Dan has a fallacy-laden argument, and they're telling Matt to lie. Don't be honest.
Okay. I'm sorry, Rogue, but the fact of the matter remains, Russell.
Mm-hmm.
That's the important part. What do we got next?
Super Mario Brothers 3 versus Mario Party. Again, doing a bit of lumping here, putting all the Mario Parties into one category, because let's be honest, it's the same thing. Versus Super Mario 3.
Yeah. Super Mario Brothers 3 was really, like, I know that Super Mario Brothers was kind of it was the introduction for many, many people, including myself. But Super Mario Brothers 3 is really what made me fall in love with Mario games. Again, the separate worlds, right? And the overmap that you get.
It was the first overmap.
I mean, plus the Tanuki suit. You've got the Leaf,
the Hammer Brothers.
the Hammer Brothers, like so many cool things. And honestly, like I distinctly remember learning how to do what is it, like the second level or the third level in the game, duck down below the or behind the panels and stuff. Like that was just dope as hell. Like even if it didn't really make that much of a difference, it was just so cool to know something.
Yeah, no, I still know a bunch of the secrets from that game, and like how to time out the final card.
Oh yeah, to always get the star.
Yeah.
Man. And it had those fun like mini games, right? Where the mushroom shop would pop up, and you go and you have to pick through 3 chests, or sometimes it would just be the 1 chest. And
dude, the memory game, like nowadays, if I go in and do, I'm like, look how fucking good my memory is. I can remember where everything is, and then you get everything. But the spinning, that one still gets me.
Yeah.
To this day.
Did you know the memory game only had like 3 combinations? Yeah. Not that much memory on those cards back in the day.
When you're 7, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah. You're also talking about an 8-bit system, right? Super Mario Brothers 3. If you look at the music, the levels, the complexity of the game, even within the graphics between Mario Brothers and Super Mario Brothers 3, it's night and day how different it is, but they all happened on the same technology in the NES. So it's kind of incredible what they were able to push that system to do to create that game.
With all of that being said, we also need to talk a moment about Mario Party, and if I may, I'd like to start.
Okay.
Fuck Mario Party.
Wow.
Well, that seems a little aggressive.
Not exactly where I thought that was going.
Okay, look, I'm down for the mini games. They're fun in a group setting and all that. But the actual core game of Mario Party where you go around the board and all... No. Because, and it still exists in the current Mario Parties to this day, and I've seen plenty of people talking about it online as well, and I fall, again, into this camp. It is bullshit that I will play Mario Party and be dominant in all those mini games. And then you get to the end... and you've collected all of your, collected the stars or whatever.
Yeah.
And you get to the end, and then it's like, oh, let's give out some bonus stars. Oh, look at that. The purple Yoshi got backtracked the most, so here's 17 stars for them. They win. No, screw that shit. Total just BS, random, number generating crap when it gives the win to somebody else. No. I worked hard to win that game, and forget Mario Party.
You sound like a boomer that gets mad over participation trophies.
That's exactly what he sounds like. I mean, I think
only if it affects me personally.
I think personally, to me, I don't know, because the first Mario Party or the first couple on N64 were not that crazy. Like they didn't give out just random, here's what you get. But I think the more recent ones, because Mario Party realistically is a party game for kids when you break it down. And honestly, who doesn't have fond memories of taking your palm on the joystick of the N64 until you have a full ass blister right in the middle of your hand?
An ass blister? Gross.
Yeah, it's not good. Yeah, I don't know. I think that for me, I think Mario Party is getting too much disrespect from one of the co-hosts.
I gotta agree. This was like the first one where I am kind of in the mix. If this were a specific Mario Party, it would be easier for me to justify voting for Super Mario Brothers 3. But the problem I have with Super Mario Brothers 3 is that it was sandwiched between 2 really good Mario games. Matt's not going to agree on one of those games being really good, but it was the last breath of a dying system. And what came after it in Super Mario World was so much better. Mario Party is a completely different take on the, how you play Mario, but it is incredibly fun. And I have had a lot of fun playing that with friends.
You two sound like the kind of losers that have benefited from the random stars at the end of a game. Super Mario 3 was... Do you really think the breath of a dying console? I mean...
Yeah. It wasn't long after Super Mario Brothers 3 came out that they put all of their time and effort into the building of the Super Nintendo system.
Well, and a big part of that is, especially early on, right? That was the catalyst for a new generation. We've got a game that is using this system in its entirety.
Yeah.
And we need to upgrade it. However, I still think that Super Mario Brothers 3 is the better of these games. I just think that you need to calm down on shitting on Toad and Toadette's Mario Party.
I think, yeah. I mean, I think Super Mario 3 is damn near iconic. Probably one of the more iconic ones on this whole list. Think about the number of times you've seen the Super Mario 3 like box art on like merch and stuff. That's more common than almost any of the other things on here. It's like one of the more iconic images, and it's from the third game. Yeah, my vote's Super Mario 3. Obviously, if it wasn't clear when I said from the beginning about Mario Party.
I think you made it kind of clear.
Kinda. Yeah, Super Mario Brothers 3 gets my vote, but again, put some love on Mario Party's name, goddammit.
Yeah, I agree. Super Mario Brothers 3 is better, but Mario Party deserves some love.
Man, I have...
I said I like the mini games. That was enough.
I will tell you what, I do have some great memories of playing the first Mario Party when it came out, or even like the second Mario Party.
Yeah, right?
Man, that was good times. Good times. All right, what's our next matchup? Keep this rolling.
Are we going to the East Coast?
Well,
yes.
Okay. We'll start at the top with Super Mario Brothers 2 versus Mario Kart. And I feel like this, on the outset, is an easy victory because Mario Kart is so iconic. But I want to throw some love on Super Mario Brothers 2. And for those of you that might not be gaming nerds like we are, Super Mario Brothers 2, the American version, was actually a reskinned version of another game that they released in Japan called... what was it? Doki Doki Panic. So they were in a rush to capitalize on the success of Super Mario Brothers. And in Japan, they released a Super Mario Brothers 2. It was basically Super Mario Brothers, but the levels were much, much harder. And what they realized is that Americans were way too lazy for that. So they reskinned Doki Doki Panic. And that is the Mario Brothers 2 that we have today. And although it is a different type of game, it does introduce, it's the first time you can play as Toad or Peach. It introduced different mechanics. It had that cool little thing at the end of the game where it's like a slot machine. There were a lot of really good things about Super Mario Brothers 2. But it's Mario Kart. Mario Kart, how many times have you sat down with friends just to humiliate them in Mario Kart?
So, go ahead, Scott, because you looked bored as fuck and wanted to talk.
I was going to vote Mario Kart so we could just move on.
Why the hell is this game on the fucking bracket if the first thing you're both going to do is just vote for Mario Kart?
Look,
this is horseshit. Yoshi's Island should have been here over Super Mario Brothers 2.
Hold on. You put Super Mario Brothers 2 against Yoshi's Island, Super Mario Brothers 2 is winning.
So you put Super Mario Brothers 2 up against other games that actually
on this list,
and it's going to win. But it's not going to win against Mario Kart.
Exactly.
It's just we've got an easy enough matchup here.
Y'all are insane. Super Mario Brothers 2 shouldn't exist. It's bullshit. I hate it. And Mario Kart moves on. But Yoshi's Island should have been in this matchup.
Is anyone surprised that Matt has that opinion?
Yoshi's Island still would have lost to Mario Kart.
Fuck both of you.
Yeah.
It is a legitimate Mario game. It is the sequel to Super Mario World, and I told you I was going to have to bring it up multiple times today.
All right. What's next, Matt?
New Super Mario Brothers Wii. I didn't want to put the Wii in there because then it made my
Wee.
thing much smaller. Versus Super Mario Maker. I don't have a whole lot of opinion here because realistically, of all of the games that are on here, Super Mario Maker is not one that I've ever really gotten into.
Super Mario Maker is a lot of fun. Like being able to build the levels and test them out, and basically, it's an open sandbox for the Mario world where you get to build and play what you want. I don't know if it's really going to stand up against Super Mario Brothers Wii. Because again, this was a launch title for the Wii.
The Super Mario Brothers one was?
Yeah, new Super Mario Brothers Wii. Wasn't it a launch title for the Wii?
No, it was not. It didn't come out till 2009. So
Yeah, I don't know. I've played New Super Mario Brothers. It is fun. It kind of takes it back to basics a little bit, right? And there's a few adjusted gameplay mechanics. Jesus, Scott.
Is he okay?
Punched my whole microphone. All right. Still hear me?
Last time Scott did that, we couldn't hear him, and now we can, so it's okay.
Okay. New Super Mario Brothers Wii was the first. I'm starting to talk about this before. Game to feature simultaneous cooperative multiplayer, so you could have up to 4 people playing at the same time. You can interact with each other. You can help each other. So that's the first. That's the first one to actually bring that in. And again, another one that, because of that multiplayer capability, has been one that I've played quite a bit of with my kids. In fact, I think it's the first one we beat.
I mean, I don't know. I do think that it is a traditional Mario game. I don't know what it is about Super Mario Maker. I just don't really find that much excitement in making the levels. Like, I think that's also why I never really got into like Minecraft or any of the other I don't want to build stuff. I just want to play.
I think it's one that, like, we have to take into consideration the fact that it has it has a significant following for those. It's kind of like a cult favorite.
Yeah.
You know, those who like to make the levels or play those crazy difficult levels that get made. Like,
right.
It is impressive seeing those videos from time to time. I just feel like, I don't know, maybe that's a bit of a niche, you know? Whereas New Super Mario Brothers Wii is, it's your for the most part, it's your classic Mario side scroller with a few other options in there. But again, you get that. For me, the big thing is that innovation and bringing in simultaneous co-op, because it opens up the game for so much more possibility. As one, you have the multiplayer aspect to be able to play with other people, but then two, like I said, just the way that it opens it up for younger audiences too, to be able to jump in and, have their parents help them along or whatever, or have someone older to be able to help. I think that really helps, I don't know, top that game up for me.
Yeah. I think that it's also like, when did you say that released? Was
the new 2009? Super Mario Brothers Wii was 2009. Yeah.
So that is right around the time that, a lot of people around our ages started to have families and kids and nephews and people that they wanted to. Well, I'm thinking of Dan for 2009. He would have been 42.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where, you want to start like getting other people into it. So a co-op definitely makes sense. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to vote New Super Mario Brothers Wii.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that one as well.
My vote doesn't matter, but I would also go with that. As much as I enjoy watching the people play those ridiculously hard levels, it's not as fun for me to play.
No. Again, the niche aspect of it.
All right. That gets us into our next matchup: Super Mario RPG versus Super Mario Galaxy.
So you know how Scott's thought about Super Mario Party? That is my thought about Super Mario RPG. That game is booty cheeks. It is so bad. It is
disagree.
Borderline unplayable.
That's wholeheartedly bullshit.
I cannot with that hunk of garbage.
What is it about it? Because legitimately, it's just Final Fantasy, but with Mario.
Except there's your problem. Slower and clunkier. And again, I've only played the original version. I don't know anything about the relaunch version. They might have fixed some of the terrible gameplay mechanics that were all over the original version.
Give me an example of a terrible gameplay mechanic, because now I feel like you're just throwing out video game jargon and hoping that it sticks to the wall.
Like the click and go actions and stuff like that. It was just janky. Like everything about it was janky and poorly made, and it wasn't even made by Nintendo. It was a licensed IP that a PC game fucked up.
Who was it that made it?
You got Rogue Tomato over here clutching their pearls at some of those comments you made, Dan.
Who?
Rogue Tomato.
I'm sorry, Rogue Tomato. If this is your jam, I don't mean
it was Square. It was Square. It was the same people who made Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Don't care. Still bad.
That's horseshit. And your whole argument is invalidated. You're just salty about it for some reason.
No, it's look, bad game.
You're a bad game.
Maybe. I don't deserve to be on this list, and neither does. Look, I will agree. Yoshi's Island should have been on here over Super Mario RPG.
I mean, I'd have taken that. Now you're just trying to appeal to me. This is really what that comes down to. I don't know, man. Super Mario RPG, it's one of those things. Like, I remember playing it because I was never a big top-down RPG fan. But, like, it got me into the RPG aspect of it a little bit, especially as, like, a youngin'. It was different, but it was still like Mario and Luigi, but you're teaming up. And the fact that they had enough interest in the game 20 years later, 25 years later, I don't know when it actually came out, 30 years later, that they re-released it. They remastered it. They put it back out on Switch. Like, there are options. I don't know. I think a lot of people like Super Mario RPG.
It came out in 96.
Yeah, so literally almost 30 years later, they redid it. They re-released it because it came out on the Switch last year, I think. I don't know. What is your... Scott, you're not talking. No, you're literally not talking. Remember when you punched your whole microphone setup?
It wasn't that. I had to mute myself a moment ago to cough. Dude, I'm telling you, my allergies are killing me with this weather change.
Yeah.
So I'm trying not to do too much of that into the microphone. No, you guys are just being very passionate, and I wanted to give you all the space to do it. I don't know. My argument for my thought for this one is a bit different. But I don't know. I don't agree with Dan, but I do agree with Dan. I agree with Dan in the sense that Super Mario RPG is poopy dukes, but that's because I don't like RPGs anyway. Like, you said that it was like Final Fantasy, but Mario, and that didn't help the case at all because I couldn't give a shit less about Final Fantasy games. I think it has a place on the bracket as a whole because, again, it's a new genre. It's a different approach at the Mario game, and I think that's unique. And again, this is another one kind of like Mario Maker, that it has its fan base and they can be very dedicated, and it is kind of like a bit of a niche cult classic type thing, but it's just not my jam. And unfortunately, I have 1/3 of the vote. So if you're really passionate about RPG, I'm sorry, but I have a hard time picturing it getting my vote. And that's to say too, I don't know that Galaxy's anything that special. Like, it's certainly a very good game. I had a lot of fun playing it. I did play it all the way through and beat it, but
I mean, Galaxy is one of those completionist games, right? Like, there are a lot of gamers who I feel like try to just complete games, and Galaxy is one that takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of time. And Super Mario Galaxy introduced the little like star character, not just like a star, but it also introduced what was her, Rosalina?
No, I'm looking.
is Galaxy?
You muted yourself again.
Luma is the star.
Is it also where that little ennui flame comes from that's in the movie that's like, there is no hope, only death?
I think it's meant to be kind of similar, yes.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's that idea. I don't know. I don't remember that actually being in the game.
Yeah, I don't either. It probably
The
came
level
from...
with which Dan's mic just picked up him scratching his own ass was pretty impressive.
That was hilarious.
I was scratching my leg, by the way. I can't believe the mic picked that up. That's crazy.
Your mic's picking everything up, bro.
I'm going to have to move my mic like...
I don't think it's
That's
that
not gonna
mic
help.
you're connected
If
to.
anything, it's better for your leg sounds now.
I have a feeling that if you hover over the mic button in Riverside, you'll notice that your mic is your webcam, because I can hear every time you touch your computer.
Yeah, that's true too.
All right. Anyway, I do think that Super Mario RPG is an important game. It's huge for the franchise. Again, kind of being a new genre, being something different. But I do think Super Mario Galaxy is a little bit more of an important.
I think it just has a wider ranging appeal. Again, I think we can applaud them for taking chances with the character, but this is one of those ones where, like, staying within the box is probably better to me.
All right, Galaxy.
Galaxy.
Galaxy moves on. That takes us to our last mashup. Daniel, what do we got?
Super Mario Land versus Paper Mario.
Super Mario Land. So Super Mario Land was another kind of change to the main game, but still
It's Super Mario Land is the Game Boy.
Game Boy.
Yeah, but it's still like a main series game, basically. It was just adjusted. So it was Super Mario Land. I think it had a subtitle of like the 6 gold coins or something like that. And I believe that was so that's when or 7.
No subtitle in Super Mario Land.
Okay. Definitely haven't been looking at this. What the fuck was the one
You're
I'm
thinking
of?
Super Mario Land 2.
Oh, am I thinking of 2?
Coins. Yep.
Got it. I was like, what am I thinking of? Yeah, so Super Mario Land, Game Boy. This is the carrot one, right? They introduced the carrot bunny power up.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think that's Super Mario 2.
What the fuck?
Carrot is a power up. Debuted in Super Mario Land 2. Also, the sequel. Yeah.
What is this bullshit? What is Super Mario Land?
It came out on the original Game Boy in 1989, 1990.
89. Yep.
Is it just the first game? Is it just Super Mario Brothers but on Game Boy?
No.
It's not. It's definitely not Super Mario Brothers but on Game Boy, but it is a Mario Brothers game that I spent a long time playing on the original Game Boy.
But I mean, it's traditional in that it's a side-scrolling platform game.
Yeah.
It is very much similar to the original NES game, just not the same game. It does have different levels and everything. It doesn't take place in the Mushroom Kingdom. And excuse me. Yeah, he pursues Princess Daisy instead of Peach. But yeah, I mean, you have the portable element of Mario on the go.
Yep.
In the Game Boy.
Super Mario Land 2 is better.
I mean, you wouldn't have Super Mario Land 2 without Super Mario Land 1, right, Dan?
Look, out of these two games, I will easily admit that I played more Super Mario Land, but that's because I was a kid and I had a Game Boy and I freaking loved that game. There was also a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game on the Game Boy that was awesome. But Paper Mario is a better game. I feel like it's kind of unfair because it's a Game Boy versus, a much newer system. But Paper Mario is such a fun game.
So the first Paper Mario came out in 2000 for the Nintendo 64. I mean, I don't know. Seeing as to how apparently I've never played the original Super Mario Land and really only focused on Super Mario Land 2 the entire time I was prepping for this debate, I think I'm going to give my vote to Paper Mario. I mean, it may be a little unfair, but it's still...
Your lack of prep?
Yeah, hold on. My over prep on the opposite. My incorrect over preparation. There's a difference, all right?
Your bad prep.
Yeah, that's almost like misspelling our podcast name when you're creating your user profile. What a crazy mistake to make.
I don't know who peed in Scott's Wheaties today, but he is
it's like super salty. Grumposaurus Rex.
How much time did you spend playing Paper Mario?
More than the original Super Mario Land.
Yeah, but again, you wouldn't have Super Mario Land 2 without Super Mario Land 1.
Okay. You know what? I will drive to your house.
He is so grumpy
and
right
teabag your forehead.
I'm not even being grumpy about that. That's a legitimate argument in this scenario. Because I'm not comparing these two based on chronological order. I'm saying that you wouldn't have had the Game Boy game that you enjoy and remember so well without this one. It's not relevant to the Paper Mario aspect of the argument.
Either way, no, I did not play much Super Mario Land. I played more Paper Mario, although it wasn't my favorite style. But I do think that it was, again, instrumental in trying to like bridge genres of different kinds. Right? I mean, I think that trying to change things, and again, adding in new components, new power-ups, new ways of playing a Mario game that isn't just the traditional left to right fucking platformer.
In my chat, Blob2431 says it's the allergies that makes me grumpy.
That's not what he said.
You must be allergic a lot.
Unless you have me grumpy as a censored word.
They say it's the allergies makes him grumpy. They said that in my stream.
And that's, I'm looking at your stream, and you have makes him grumpy as a censored word.
Really?
Yeah.
Why don't I have anything censored?
I don't know, but the Rogue Tomato also said, Dan, you can eat a something with that opinion, and I'm assuming that's a dick.
Close. No. A whole bag of them. It was a bag of them, actually.
It could have been a pineapple. It could have been,
No, I can see the stream. Rogue told you to eat a bag of dicks with your opinion. Spark is pointing out that Paper Mario blends both retro and new, so you get the best of both worlds with Paper Mario. But doesn't Paper Mario fall more into the RPG side of things, too?
It's a little bit more RPG-y, but there's still, like, some platforming. Like, that's really...
And it's done well, as opposed to Super Mario RPG.
I want you to talk to anybody that worked on the original fucking Square Enix team.
Yeah.
And tell them that their games are shit.
Okay.
I don't think you will. I don't think you will, motherfucker.
You won't do it.
You won't do it. All right. My vote's going to go to Paper Mario.
Dang it.
I'm also voting Paper Mario.
That's fine with me.
Who are you voting for? Paper Mario?
To be honest with you, in this matchup, I don't know that I care too much. So Paper Mario is fine, I was never... I had the OG Game Boy. I don't think I had Super Mario Land, though. I don't remember playing it.
I mean, legitimately, I just remember Super Mario Land 2 because I remember the carrot. I remember the coins. Anyway.
All right.
Paper
Round 2.
on.
I think we should work backwards for round 2.
Okay.
So bottom to top.
Right to left. So we'll then we're just talking about the same games we just talked about.
Yeah. Let's go bottom to top, starting on the West Coast.
You just say left and right.
No, let's just go right. All right. So Paper Mario versus Super Mario Galaxy. We're doing it backwards.
Okay.
Okay. So we really just kind of talked about these games, and I feel like this is the weakest bracket out of the entire division.
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of a toss up. If I had two boxes in front of me, Super Mario Galaxy is the one that I'm picking up, because as much as Paper Mario is fun, it's a little bit of a divergence from the platformer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the cutesy style that they do. I would rather play Galaxy.
So I think that really the reason you'd grab that box is because Space Plumber. That's really why you would. I don't know. I think that Paper Mario is a more successful franchise. I think that because it has a ton of entries, right? It's not just Paper Mario, but Thousand Year Door, Origami King. Like, there are a ton of different Paper Mario things. And I think that it has a really big following overall. Super Mario Galaxy, there was a Super Mario Galaxy 2, right?
Yes.
And I think that one is more well regarded than Super Mario Galaxy overall.
Super Mario Galaxy was the first. Where'd it go? Hold on. I had it in front of me. It was the first Nintendo title to win the BAFTA award for Best Game.
Holy shit.
It is the 9th best-selling Wii game worldwide.
Wii game specifically? What is above that? Is Wii Sports above that?
I don't know. It received Game of the Year in 2007 from IGN, GameSpot, Nintendo Power, Kotaku, and Yahoo Games. It was perceived as the highest ranking title in 2007 according to review aggregator Game Rankings.
I mean, that's
a lot of awards.
That's impressive, because I believe wasn't Assassin's Creed like the first or second Assassin's Creed in 2007?
Sure, probably something like that.
So that's pretty. I mean, that is impressive.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed was 2007, first one. All
right.
Let's see. Paper Mario though, just kind of there's a lot there. The very first one came out. What was it? 2000? Yeah. I don't know. Again, I think this is one of those scenarios for me where it's cool that they did something a little different and they went outside the box with it, but I feel like they could have stayed in the box. I feel like my vote goes to Galaxy. And again, that's probably partially also the RPG element just not being my
Pure
thing.
hatred of RPGs.
Pretty much.
Pretty
close to it.
Why do you have a hatred?
I don't know. I don't know.
All right.
They just haven't captured my attention.
They have just bad attention. Just anger is what it's caught.
That's fair.
So both of you voted Super Mario Galaxy. I'll give my vote to Paper Mario because fuck both of you. I don't know.
That's fair.
I'm down.
All right. Next up, Daniel.
Next up, we have Mario Kart versus the new Super Mario Brothers.
I think this is easy.
So this is the Wii versus the OG and all the subsequent Mario Karts. I agree with Matt. This is easy.
I mean, no. Simultaneous 4-player co-op. First video game my daughter and I ever beat. Does that mean nothing to you, Vol?
No, it means something to you. Why would it mean anything to anybody else?
Good point. Yeah, no, I mean, it's Mario Kart. Yeah, I mean, colleges worldwide have had their networks crippled by Mario Kart tournaments.
Yep.
What?
I don't know. I started the sentence before I knew how I was going to end it, and so I just had to come up with
I
something.
was
He tried to
legitimately.
find it on the way there.
I was so confused. Why would Mario Kart crash networks?
Okay, but for real, thinking back, like, to being in college, especially the 2 years I lived in the dorm, one of those years in particular, but living in the dorm, the summer between my freshman and sophomore year, excuse me, I worked at Circuit City. Don't do the math to think about how long ago that was, but I ended up getting like a 42-inch LCD TV for like cheap because I got it cheap. So I'm in a dorm room with a 42-inch TV, which today doesn't sound like a lot, but in 2007 it was a lot, you know. And it was nothing to, in between classes, prop open your door and do one of two things: start playing Rock Band or start playing Mario Kart. And you start either one of those things, and within a few minutes, someone else will have grabbed a controller or a guitar or drums or whatever, and will have joined you. Like, it was such a quintessential thing to that experience at that time. And I know I'm not the only one who fell into that. So, anyway, Mario Kart.
Yeah, I mean,
yes, Circuit City. I know I'm old. Thank you.
I think that it's important that I throw this story out now. But Mario Kart. So the first time that Scott and I hung out on our own, he drove to my place that was, I don't know, 40 minutes away from you or so, and brought his Nintendo 64, brought GoldenEye, brought Mario Kart, and another game I can't remember. And we sat there and played the Mario Kart battle on Mario Kart 64.
Yeah.
One of the greatest modes in any video game ever is just take these 3 balloons and good luck.
Oh, that game is so good. I
forgot about that hangout, but yeah, you're right. We played Mario Kart for like hours.
Yeah, we tried GoldenEye, but it was being stupid.
Yeah.
The amount of time I've spent playing Mario Kart and just wrecking my friends. And the battle mode is so good. Yeah, Mario Kart.
All right.
100%.
Super Mario Brothers 3 versus Super Mario Brothers World. Or excuse me, Super Mario World.
You took 2 turns in that one that I wasn't expecting.
What do you mean?
Well, I was expecting you to just go left, but then you went down left, man, and then you called it the wrong name.
We're working from like lowest stakes to highest stakes.
See, and that's horseshit, because in my eyes, this is the main event. Super Mario World versus Super Mario Brothers 3. These are the 2 games that I played the most of any Mario game. By far. Because Super Mario Brothers 3, dude, just finding all of the whistles, like trying to beat Super Mario Brothers 3 was a journey. Like, it was not easy. It was very, very difficult. But it was also one of those, I don't know, I just got a lot of satisfaction once you got through all of those. Super Mario World is the first Mario game that I actually beat. I don't know. I love Super Mario World, though. Again, introduction to Yoshi. You've got the secrets and the secret levels and the ghost castles. Like the ghost houses and, you know, the warp gates to fucking nowhere. The Star World. Star World alone was dope as hell. This one's a difficult one. We've got an Ollie.
So the thing that gets me is that they are very similar games, and they were being designed, like a lot of the elements that they wanted to put in Super Mario Brothers 3 ended up making it into Super Mario World just because of the limitations of the system. But the Super Mario Brothers 3 didn't come out until 1990 here in America. I think it was released in 88 or 89 in Japan. But in November of 1990, Super Mario World launched in Japan. So Japan was playing the next generation, the Super Famicom, with Super Mario, while we were slumming it with Mario 3. I think both games are amazing. But again, I think the innovations that made the Super Nintendo better than the NES stand clear in Super Mario World.
But are we going to let the advancement of the technology of the console impact the validity of the actual game?
Well, I think in certain cases, right, that because the games are so similar, I think unfortunately Super Mario Brothers 3 was just limited by its time. But the gameplay is very similar. The controls, the level jumping, there's a lot of similarities between those two games. I just think Super Mario World does it better because it had better equipment to run off of. And I think that it adds more, again, being able to go back to levels that you had previously beat and find all these secret little exits. Yes, I get it. Like Mario Brothers 3 also had these cool little secrets, like going up and squatting down on the thing until you fall behind it, and the whistles, the inventory, being able to select like a power up before you start a level. Those things were great too. But man, this is a tough battle because they are so very similar and they were released so close together.
Do either of you feel like you have a definitive vote?
I do.
Go for it, Dan.
My vote's Super Mario World. I just think that, again, I applaud Super Mario Brothers 3 for being able to do what it did on that 8-bit system. I think that there are iconic parts, right? The curtain, coming up at the beginning of the game, and there's just so many iconic parts about it. But Super Mario World is the quintessential Super Mario game.
You guys remember that fucking angry sun, the desert level? It would
and
then it would come down and try to. Oh man, hated that.
Yeah, there were some hard ass levels in on Super Mario Brothers 3 because it was also one of the ones that like it continued. Well, was it the introduction of the forced moving screen in Mario games? Now that I'm thinking about it,
in
Super Mario Brothers 3, yeah, where it would. Yeah. Like the screen would move and you had to catch up with it or keep up with it.
And you had the jumping levels. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Super Mario 3 had that. I don't think 2 did, so yeah.
I don't know.
I was trying to remember if 2 did or not. I don't think it did.
Well, 2 wasn't a real game, so... Super Mario Brothers...
Salty.
I've been salty about it the whole time. You jumped on the bandwagon. I don't know. These are, like I said, these are 2... of my favorite games ever. Like, I love both of these games. I do think the one thing that's going to push it over the edge, it's got Yoshi, bro.
You're so obsessed with everything green.
Yoshi is the best Mario character. He was my Mario Kart go-to until Link was involved, and then that changed a little bit. But it's got Yoshi, man. Super Mario World gets my vote. And you got all the different colored Yoshis. Anyway, what would be your vote, Scott?
Man, I don't know. Honestly, I'm still kind of on the fence. I'm going to say Super Mario Brothers 3 because it doesn't matter.
That's fair.
To me, it's just, I can't really put a finger on it, but it's just slightly more iconic in my head. But again, that might just be me. Who knows?
No, I think that's fair though. I do think for me it is very much the personalization of Super Mario World. But I do think Super Mario Brothers 3 is just as, if not more, iconic than World. All right. Well, that takes us into Scott's main event: Super Mario Bros. Versus Super Mario 64. The thing that started it all, and the thing that started the 3D version of it all.
I was gonna say, you literally introduced yourself as "It's a me," which came. I mean, you wouldn't have from the moment you turn that game on, you get that, and then you can grab the hand, use the hand, and grab his nose and move his facial features all around. That was a hidden little fun thing.
Yeah, that always made me feel better about my big nose.
Sorry, hold on. I've just been passed an important note here. I've been told Matt can make a Yoshi noise just saying.
I did it earlier.
Well, it sounds like it's being requested again, so
We're not talking about Yoshi
dance
right now.
monkey dance. Anyway, so yeah, Super Mario 64. Again, when we were thinking like iconic, like that game is a key nostalgic factor, I feel like, for most people our age, right?
Mhm.
But then again, Super Mario Brothers started it all, right? Everyone knows, the theme song because of that. Everyone knows, even most people know both the first level and the warp, the tunnel
The
level theme
hidden,
songs.
yeah.
Yeah, I still remember the warp whistle locations. The second level has one, right at the end. I mean,
Wrong game.
huh?
No.
No,
Super
it's not.
Mario Brothers had the hidden warp tubes,
Okay, thank
Tubes,
you.
not whistles. You're
not
right.
warp
That's fine.
whistles.
But you could go from the second level all the way to the world 4, and then in the next one you could go from world 4 straight to world 8.
Yeah.
You could skip the whole game. Yeah.
Did you ever feel like that was cheating though? Like there were times where
Oh
I was
yeah.
like, no, I need to play this game raw. You know what I mean? I need a raw
Yeah.
dog Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, because I mean, eventually, otherwise, like, what happens is you get to level 8 and you haven't played anything else to rehone your skills, and then you just get your ass, and you haven't built up any extra lives, you haven't gotten any
Yeah.
coins or anything, so you just get your ass handed to you in World 8.
Yeah. Man, Super Mario Brothers, it is a good fucking game though, and Super Mario 64 is also a good game, just in a different way. Did either of you try to play Super Mario 64 when they re-released it a couple years ago on Switch?
No.
It was so hard to play. And I think part of it is just the controller setup.
Yeah.
Did you play it at all, Scott?
No, I mean, I still have my 64 and half the game, so
Yeah.
I just play the OG if I wanted to.
I think that's part of the issue, is just the controller setup on Switch is different. And I don't know, they're both so great.
I mean, maybe we need to reapply some of the best video game franchise logic to it, like the accessibility and the shoot, I don't even remember them all now.
Longevity.
From an accessibility standpoint, and obviously longevity, Super Mario Brothers has been on everything. You can pick up a Switch or a Wii and play it right now.
Well, plus they incorporated it into some full launch games, right? Like you could play Super Mario Brothers on some other games once we got to the N64 to re-release it and keep it fresh, and not 64, but the Super Nintendo, to keep it fresh in people's minds. Plus arcade, like from an accessibility perspective, it was everywhere.
Yeah.
I
Guys,
think from it, what?
I think you might be overcomplicating this. And I'm just going to ask you a question. I want you to answer. If I gave you 2 hours of unlimited playtime, but you had to pick one of these two games to play, which one are you picking?
So what you're saying is if there were 2 boxes of 2 hours,
Exactly,
2 games in front of us.
Yeah. Thinking about the SOG factor, which one are you choosing? And I think if you think about it like that, it's not that tough of a decision. Look,
Okay, so which one are you playing then, Dan? If you don't think it's tough,
I'm giving all the flowers in the world to Super Mario Brothers for really starting this, what is the best video game franchise. But there's no way that Super Mario Brothers, the original, as good as it is, competes with Super Mario 64. The 3D aspect, the first 3D video game of Mario, being able to jump around and, you're just kind of dropped in there. You don't really know what to do, and you have to explore and find your way, through the paintings and figure out where you need to go, and there's traps. And think about the final battle. When you're facing off against Bowser you're either standing on a bridge and you have to jump over a 2D Bowser to get an axe to cut a rope, which, by the way, that's the worst secret lair like setup ever. Like, the only thing you need to kill me is this giant axe behind me, or you're on top of a mountain and you have to like pick him up by his tail and throw Bowser.
Spoilers.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm spoiling 40 and 25-year-old games.
I mean, I hear what you're saying. I see you, and I respect you.
Half of that is true for me.
You don't see me?
Yeah, you're like John Cena to him. I don't know, man. I think. Go ahead, Scott.
No. Go ahead.
Well, I do think that I have my answer, and I don't think I like it.
But see, I get where you're coming from, Dan, and I don't disagree with you. But I think I feel like your argument doesn't take into account enough the historical impact of the original Super Mario Brothers game, like on the video game genre as a whole. And again, I mean, I know it punch holes in your
it started it.
Yeah,
argument.
but I mean, it's literally the first one. I mean, it's none of this exists without it. But I get where I mean, Super Mario 64 is the one that I'm most likely to revisit, I suppose, And as Spark has pointed out in my chat, which I was thinking about as well, it has penguin racing, which is pretty vital. I
mean, honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. As Dan was talking, all I could think about was the baby penguin.
Same here.
Yeah.
That's why I say I don't. You make people think of baby penguins. I don't. I think that the other part, Super Mario 64, innovative as shit, right? Completely changes the outlook on a Mario game, makes it 3D. But in addition to that, they've taken so many parts of Super Mario 64 and made them a part of the series later on. The paintings alone, right, in Odyssey, allow you to get to different worlds. Like I think Super Mario 64 has to move on.
Well, and then again, think about it. The voice of Mario really came from Mario 64.
Yeah. Something about it does feel slightly dirty, but I think it's the right answer.
Is it because you're agreeing with me?
That could be it.
Yeah.
Could be it.
All right. That takes us into our final four, our final Mary 4. That doesn't work as well as I thought it was going to.
No.
Okay. Super Mario 64 versus Super Mario World, or Mario Kart versus Super Mario Galaxy? I feel like one of these is easier than the other.
Which one do you think is easier?
So let's talk about Mario Kart versus Super Mario Galaxy.
All right, same page.
Yeah.
Mario Kart's got to move on.
I mean, Super Mario Galaxy is the best of the weakest division in this competition, but yeah, it's got to be Mario Kart. I think Mario Kart has A, the longevity because it's been around forever, but B, it is one of those games that no matter what edition it is, people are going to line up to buy it because it is just that good.
Yeah, there's a lot of speculation excuse me, that the next Mario Kart will be a launch title with the Switch 2. So, yeah,
I'll buy a Switch 2 for that game.
I don't know about that, but I'll come over to play your Switch 2 with you. All right.
No, you won't.
You live really far away.
That's a long drive.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mario Kart gets a unanimous vote to move forward into the final two?
I think so.
Okay.
This is tough.
Main event part 2. Super Mario 64 Scott. Versus because he's biased as fuck.
I just didn't have the love for Mario World you guys do. I'm not debating the fact that it's a good game. It just never resonated with me the same way that it seems like it did for you two.
I mean, I think for me, Super Mario World just became one of my first comfort places. I'm going to trauma dump a little bit. That's not true. I'm not going to, but it was one of those things that I turned to, right? Like it was a coping mechanism for me. And one of my first real introductions into escapism, getting out of what is the real world into what is this dope ass world with a dinosaur that you get to ride and a feather that gives you a superhero cape. And then you get the ground pound with the superhero cape.
Yeah.
Is one of the dopest things. Plus, you got the giant like blowfish as bad guys. You've got the Koopalings, and then Bowser's Castle, where you get to like kind of choose your own adventure on how you get to him. There's so much to Super Mario World. Super Mario 64 is huge, and I can recognize the importance of it and the amount that it gave not just to the Mario franchise, but to video games as a whole, right? In being a launch title with the N64, in being part of the reason that game is so successful, or that system was so successful. But I guess, I don't know. I think what it really comes down to is the Super Nintendo was just my childhood, and Super Mario World was the Super Nintendo for me.
I think both of these games are big innovations for the Mario. I think they were both big steps in the Mario World, Mario franchise. I will admittedly say that Super Mario 64 is probably the biggest technological step from one Mario game to another because, I mean, again, first 3D,
Open world.
yeah, and you could some of the speed run things that you could do in Super Mario 64 are ridiculously fun. That being said, I'm kind of with Matt. It's difficult for me to take my own bias out of this because I love Super Mario World so much. Like some of my favorite memories as a kid growing up were trying to like figure out the different routes that you can go and find all of the exclamation points so you could unlock different parts of the worlds. Super Mario World is amazing.
I'm going to be honest. When you said some of my favorite memories, I thought you said some of my favorite memories, and I got really excited for a second.
Some of my favorite mammary glands, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think these two hold very, very similar places in the franchise, not just with innovation, but also with some of the secrets that existed. Like, it was really the first time they started putting those, not just secrets, but like game-changing secrets into Mario games, right? Like finding your way to Star World and then getting the different colored Yoshis.
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you how many hours I put into Super Mario World where I thought there was a rainbow Yoshi. And you could, you know what I mean? That had like all of the powers. It was so cool. But Super Mario 64, similarly, a lot of really fun new facets to the game. Wasn't the metal hat in Super Mario 64? Isn't that when that was introduced to make Metal Mario?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's introduced, but I know it's in there.
Yeah.
But penguin racing.
Look, the baby penguin is one of the cutest sprites to ever exist in video games. But
I don't know. I feel like this is another one of those instances where you guys are having a hard you're not taking yourself out of it. I feel like Super Mario 64 is significantly more iconic, recognizable, impactful. I mean, it came out in like a golden age of video games, and it excelled in its time. It won multiple Game of the Year again. I don't know, but I don't know that there's anything I'm going to say that's going to sway your nostalgia view.
I mean, I think that the road to getting and I know we've said this, and I don't like this argument of you wouldn't have it if you didn't have blah blah blah. But would Nintendo have still continued to go down the route of Mario being their prime character without Super Mario World being successful? Not just existing, but being iconic in its own right and being a very successful game. I don't know. Yes, you're right. I'm not taking myself out of it because that's what I have to base it on. But also hashtag Super Mario RPG. Taking yourself out of it. I got to give it to Super Mario World. That's my vote. Dan, do you have your official vote?
Yeah, look, I agree that both of these games reshape the Mario world, but I think if you look at the larger population and you see the consensus view of the top video games of all time, you're going to find Super Mario World consistently above Super Mario 64. And I think there's a reason for that. I think the gameplay, I think the power-ups, I think the addition of Yoshi, the the world where you can travel back to worlds that you've already beaten, the different exits that you can do within those worlds to open up different parts of the overmap. I think Super Mario World is the better game.
I think when you look at Metacritic, that Mario 64 has a 96 and Mario World has a 94. So if you look at the greater population, they would disagree with you, said. But I get it. If you were to poll fellow AARP members, they would probably say Super Mario World as well.
I'm younger than you. Also,
I was talking to Dan.
If you look at Metacritic, Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2 are both higher than Super Mario 64. So Metacritic isn't always right.
just saying in this argument. He's saying the greater majority of people would say Mario World is better, but that's clearly not how that's worked out. Chat, get in the comments. I want to know what y'all think about this matchup. 64 versus Mario World. Where do you all land? All right.
Where do you land?
Tell us how you feel on this one.
All right, we've got our championship.
Spark said 64. Super Mario World versus Mario Kart.
I think going back to it, Mario Kart versus Super Mario World, both iconic games. I realistically, let's just take a moment, right? Because Super Mario World, you're really looking at a tale of two different games. Super Mario World is a continuation of the platformer.
Rogue Tomato also said World. Zed has also said World, but clarified that they are old. So I think there's a factor there. They
came out like 8 years apart.
Experience is the factor.
All right, so Super Mario World, continuation of the traditional Mario game. It is a platformer. It is a side scroller. It is left to right. Super Mario Kart, really the first divergence, completely from that genre at all. Mm-hmm. Going into a different genre, racing. I don't know how often or how much you think about like the original Mario Kart from the Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
it was rough. It's a rough play.
There were like 8 characters that you can choose from.
And it's still a fun game to play.
It's fucking hard, bro. It is. To be able to race on a D-pad is insane.
That's why I'm so good at Mario Kart, is because I cut my teeth on the OG Super Nintendo Mario Kart.
They're so different.
No, man. It's all about lines and making the best line for the lap. And that has stayed consistent.
I feel like he's really laying out there a certain level of hubris when it comes to his Mario Kart capabilities.
It feels like it.
it feels like there's a challenge being laid out here.
Look, the hat has been thrown.
Oh, you should put it back on. We can see your hair.
What is wrong? Who throws hats?
I don't have a glove or any other way to challenge you all to a Mario Kart duel. But yeah, anytime you want to come lose, just let me know.
Somehow you put that hat back on completely differently, and it looks terrifying.
I'm gonna have to mute because I'm putting it on over my headset.
Again, I don't think your headset mic
not doing
is
anything. He moved it this far away, and it did not change his audio level
Look
at all.
It. It's been sticking out like a fucking antenna for the last half an hour.
Yeah.
And now he looks like a West Side Story Luigi. All right. But again,
requested now that we live stream a bracketology Mario Kart battle.
I mean, we can do that.
That's not a bad idea.
I don't know how we can do that.
We can figure it out. We're three mostly reasonably intelligent, somewhat collectively.
And we can have wives, so yeah, there you go.
We know how to Google stuff.
But Mario Kart does have the battle. And again, the battle it's one of my favorite things in Mario Kart.
Guys, we have got to think about the longevity of our own podcast here. Are we really going to diminish our credibility by saying that the best Mario game pisses on the entire rest of the Mario genre and universe, where it started from, where its roots are planted, and that it's Mario Kart over Super Mario World? Listen, you have called me salty. You've said that I came in hot. I've come in angry. Every angry, salty, allergic cell in my body absolutely spitefully wants to vote against Super Mario World because I think you old fucks were wrong for putting it through over Super Mario 64.
Matt is younger than you.
You heard what I said. I spitefully want to take it down. But for the sake of the credibility of this podcast, we can't say Mario Kart is the best ever Mario game over anything that involves a side-scrolling concept, saving a princess, collecting coins. Like, what are we talking about? I get where you're coming from. It's fun and everything, but I mean, it's hardly a Mario game. You could take Mario Kart, wipe it of its IP, and make it a Sonic game or a Crash Bandicoot game.
They have tried both of those things, and they both failed.
Great, and they failed because they didn't have the Mario name attached to them. But a Mario game, it does not make it.
They weren't as good as Mario Kart. Mario Kart is a better game. But I think you're being awful presumptuous to think that that I was going to vote for Mario Kart over Super Mario World.
I mean, if I wasn't being presumptuous, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to go off on the passionate rant that I am known for as part of my brand in this podcast. Again, protecting the brand. Look, if we're getting blown up here, chat saying Mario Kart is a no-go for me from Blob2431.
Blown up. We got a single chat.
John also said Scott could not be more right in this moment. Thank you, John.
I didn't scroll down in that. Look, the fact of the matter is
John,
this.
I knew you were always my favorite bracketeer. Second favorite bracketeer.
The fact of the matter is this. Mario Kart is a tremendous game. It's fun. It's fun to play with friends. It was ruined when they introduced the blue shell.
Oh.
And when they introduced the farther back you are, the more help we're going to give you bullshit.
Rubber banding is what it's called.
Yeah.
No. I like the farther back you are, the more help we're going to give you bullshit as a term a little bit better. And it's fucking Russian.
I think we need to blue shell the 1%, dude. I'm all about that blue shell life.
Yeah, I mean, sure, 100% we should. But that's not what we're talking about, and that's not realistic.
Hold on. There's a t-shirt opportunity there. We really need to think about that. There's an opportunity to make a t-shirt out of that.
I just want to throw out Nintendo is one of the most litigious companies that ever existed.
We might get sued for wearing what we're wearing right now. All right, I think it's time for a vote, gentlemen. We are approaching 2 hours, and I think it has been justly used to argue about the best Mario game.
And
but
clearly,
it's time to decide a winner.
Clearly, there is one winner.
I'm so fucking mad about it.
Super Mario World is the best Mario game of all time. Dan?
Super Mario World, 100%.
Scott?
Super Mario World.
I don't know. I'm sorry. We couldn't really hear you.
Could you say that
there.
again?
Yeah, could you?
Super Mario World. Hold on, I'm going to get the ASMR going for everyone. Super Mario World.
Oh, God, that's terrifying.
That was creepy.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all.
Very terrifying.
I just
You
got
want nightmares? Listen to Scott sleep stories.
the realization this is a recorded format really just hit my Spark said allergy ASMR. It does bring me down a little bit. Like I could get a little bit lower thanks to that. All right, guys, fellas, folks, friends, bracketeers. I guess I don't know how I feel about it, but that's a bracket. That's a podcast. We on this March 10th, Mario Day, we've determined Super Mario World as the best Mario game.
Look,
I feel good about it.
the only thing that should have been different in this podcast or in this bracket is the Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island should have been second place, but we will give second place to Mario Kart. It was still fun, and I enjoyed it. Now, for our chat and for the people that are out there, I want to throw out, Scott and I are planning on doing a live potential watch-along of WrestleMania or of some parts of WrestleMania.
Gosh. Yeah.
In a month or so. Tell us your thoughts on that. Let us know what you
I'm
think.
going to tell you my thoughts on that. That is 4 hours of wrestling each day for 2 days. That's 4 hours of me being on a live stream, pretty much consecutive both days. That's 8 total hours in a weekend where my wife will be solo with the kids. This is going to be expensive. I'm going to have to get her a massage or something. Like, I'm going to owe her if we really do that live stream.
Well, it doesn't have to be all of it, right? We pick our favorite ones and go from there. But I think it could be fun. And then, yes, we will figure out. What do we figure out? We will figure out Mario Kart battle at Dan's house sometime soon?
Yeah. Well, we talked about a game night in April. That might be a chance to do that.
Matt has not been privy to that conversation yet, but yes, there is opportunity potential.
Why the fuck haven't I been privy to this information?
Because it was a passing thought that I sent to Dan at one point, and then I didn't remember to circle back to it yet. It's not until April. We have a month. Calm down.
Matt, if it makes you feel any better, I wasn't a part of the conversation about live streaming WWE. So
that's because you don't watch WWE.
I mean, it's fair.
Yeah. All right. On that note, let us know your thoughts if you think it'd be fun.
So here, we also, I think we could consider too, not only a Mario Kart battle, but I think we could also possibly rip off an idea from other content creators. We could play a 6 thumbs, 3 hearts, 1 mind version of Super Mario World.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? That would be so difficult.
It would be. It is. I've seen them do it, but it is possible. So I think that's something for us to consider in the near future as well.
I know you've told me what this is before.
So that is where we play Super Mario World, where one of us controls the D-pad, one controls the B button, one controls the A button. So one person controls running, the other person controls jumping, the third person controls direction.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah, that's super
so just
tough.
a concept. Anyway, along the same thought process of the WrestleMania thing, which is to be determined, we need to talk about that a little bit more before we go down that path, because Blob2431, who is my wife in our chat, just said, I love finding out news in real time. And I had to preface with her.
I've been wondering who that was this entire time.
It's Blob. That's my wife. I don't know why her name is Blob2431. I think it was a default name that Twitch gave her, and she just hasn't changed it. But I had to clarify with her. We've only briefly mentioned that to each other, so I was a little caught off guard here at the concept of this happening. But anyway, part of the reason we discussed it is because starting next week, this episode we're recording right now is going to be our podcast episode this week. Next week, we are starting a new bracket, Legendariest WWE Champion. So we've already got a couple episodes of that recorded. We're excited for that one. It has been quite a bit of fun to talk about some pro wrestlers from back in the day. So look forward to that coming up. We'll figure out the whole WrestleMania thing in the near future. But yeah, I think that's a podcast, right? So let's see. I have to thank Aaron O'Donnell from Aaron O'Donnell Music for the music here at the beginning and end of every episode. I have to thank you. What I want to do, I also want to thank Matt. Matt put in a lot of work to get the production of this episode up and running. And so I want to thank him a lot for doing that and getting us there. I want to thank Dan for wearing a Luigi hat.
I didn't have any kind of costume. I know this was mentioned like well earlier, but I couldn't. Look, I'm boycotting most of the big stores, so I couldn't go get a Yoshi costume. So I wore green, which is kind of. Can you tell it's green?
I mean, you look rideable to me. So with that being said, I have had a history.
I have a long tongue too. Never mind.
Again, recorded format.
I want to thank all the people that have joined us for this live stream, the conversation that has been going off in the chat, even the ones that disagree with me. Spark, I'm looking at you. But thank you all for spending this time with us.
I have really enjoyed this. It's been nice having a chat to interact with while we've been, because sometimes I get bored listening to you two talk. So like, it really feeds into my ADD. It's been great. So yes, Spark and Zed and Blob, and I'm just reading in order here. Rogue Tomato. Thank you all for hanging out here. We appreciate it.
Lexer, John, Big Ray.
Yeah, that's right, Big Ray. Yeah, thank you all. It's been great
Moose
having
is
everyone
there too, but Moose's chat hasn't been working the entire episode.
Oh, bummer. But anyway, that's it. As always, I've had a history with weird mushrooms. I'm Scott.
It's still a me, Matt.
And I'm still totally awesome. Dan.
Bye-bye.
The hosts of Bracketology are experts.
That's the wrong audio.
Nailing it.
All right, bye.